This is the Impulsive Thinker Podcast, a show for high-achieving ADHD entrepreneurs. Together, we will inform and educate you about how to improve your self-awareness while developing systems, routines, and habits for conquering the entrepreneurial world. Here is your host, Andre Brisson.
Hello there again, it's Andre Brisson with another Impulsive Thinker short. A few weeks ago, I was reading in the fall 2021 Attitude magazine, which is a magazine for strategies and support for ADHD and learning disabilities. Very good magazine. I'd highly recommend it for you to subscribe to it. I believe it's quarterly with a lot of good short articles and a lot of great information, science-based and experience-based. But anyways, this one article really caught my eye and it really hit close to home, and I think it is very valid for a lot of high-achieving entrepreneurs to have this conversation. It's called The Self-Esteem Boosters That Can Change Your Life. It's written by Peter Jaska, PhD. But long and short of it, it's the opening paragraphs that really got me to thinking. It states here, for most people, self-esteem rises steadily as they age from their 20s to their 30s, with a peak around 60 years old. And a lot of that has to do with the rising level of expertise and success in work and career, achieving long-term goals, and enjoying more financial security. With age comes a greater sense of succeeding in life. But this is the interesting part that really nailed me to the wall here. But for many adults with ADHD, self-esteem decreases as they grow into middle age and approach retirement age. And there are reasons for this trend. They have a sense of frustration and underachievement and see themselves as failing in comparison to their peers. Many feel helpless and hopeless after years of efforts at behavior change that never worked out. Many feel financial insecurity because their money management was erratic at best, and long-term financial planning simply did not get done. Check, 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 check. I check off of those ones. Interesting part is, I completely agree with this statement that my self-confidence has decreased as I gain more experience, more success that I just recently realized that I have. And the financial security ones was, yes, I had a lot of erratic management of finances. Long-term financial planning, I just started recently because my wife told me we got to start growing up and looking at long-term. And this really got me to thinking, this is true. As an engineer, I am highly respected for my knowledge and my expertise in quite a few different realms of structural engineering and different niche markets. But at the same time, every time I want to try and get to be as an expert, I have zero confidence about why would people want to listen to me or why I would market myself. So I start to think back. I think when I graduated from university or college there, my confidence was probably the highest at that point. And the more I learned, I did decrease with confidence because I always thought I never knew enough. Never thought I would be enough for people to want to come back. So that was another hyper-focus thing, is to get more knowledge and learn more and more and more. And I never realized that correlated to my lack of self-esteem. So I thought that was an interesting thought. So a lot of my drive in my early years has to do with lack of self-esteem, and the more the push I was doing for more and more and more as I got older and learned more experience was because of my decreasing self-esteem. And the other thing too that really hit me here is I thought this was a good way to frame it. The core beliefs that shape self-esteem are determined by whether a person appreciates and likes himself or herself or is frustrated and self-critical. And I can really relate to that too, is frustration and self-criticism increases. And I think if one increases, the other one increases. Like recently, a lot of the frustrations I've been having with developing the podcast turned that into being self-critical. Really saying, what do you know? What's the point of you doing this? A lot of people are going to laugh at you, or who's going to be out there to support you? So there's a lot of self-criticism, and with that came frustrations. And a lot of frustration was actually not attempting to do this and working on this because I was afraid of failure. But just to give you a quick outlook, over time, very low self-esteem can lead to depression, anxiety, substance abuse, and other serious problems. And just remember, and I like this quote too, is none of us is a prisoner of our past, and it's never too late to change. Okay, one of the harmful aspects of low self-esteem is the loss of self-confidence in oneself to change and grow. And I think this is one of the things I really learned with my diagnosis a few years ago, is I had to let go of the past. I'm not stuck because of what happened in the past, the past has developed me to who I am today. That is a positive, even though I'm undiagnosed. I've learned a lot from it. And I've gained some confidence of mastering or managing my symptoms better and understanding how it affected me in the past, so I prevent it in the future. And I can tell you one thing, my self-confidence has grown on that, especially on the engineering side and the personal side. But I'll tell you one thing, on this podcast idea here, completely brand new, really put myself out there. It was very tough to build that self-confidence. And the self-confidence I was able to gain because of my cheerleaders and my support team, my friends actually, that I never realized I had before. And a lot of people are pushing me to do this and supporting me and review my work. So that really helps with the self-confidence when you have people there to support you and cheerlead you on. And like one of my past shorts here, please find some people who can help support you and cheerlead you on, because we really need that. We need that constant reminder that what we're doing is a good idea, and not to go down and not be interested anymore and pursue it, or talk ourselves out of it because we're very self-critical. So stating that, and another quote here is, even when these negative messages feel natural, they must not be accepted as normal or healthy. And that was one of my biggest mindset changes too, is I really got to start seeing those negative thoughts, negative messages, as they were natural. They felt natural. It was easy to crush me. And, you know, like I always say, other people can't say worse things than I can tell myself. You know, one of the ways I was able to overcome this was actually with CBT therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy. And really what these negative messages are cognitive distortions. So once you identify these as cognitive distortions, you can ladder your way out and turn it into a positive thinking, or it's more to the point that you're realizing it's a negative thought and message, and that's a cognitive distortion. And we just got to retrain our brain to take that and always try to look for the positive, or try to find motivation, or take it as an early cue that I might need to talk to someone so they can raise my positiveness about the ordeal. What do you think about this? Do you think as an ADHD, high-achieving entrepreneur, that your self-esteem decreased with time? For me, it really did. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. If you found that your self-confidence and self-esteem decreased as you got older, as you gain more experience, which seems like doesn't make sense though, but I think when I read that, it made a lot of sense for me, and it just got me to start thinking in a different way ever since. And I thought I'd like to share that with you. So thank you for listening. Please share this episode if you think this would be helpful for someone else. Subscribe. And also I'd like to hear about your thoughts on this topic in the comments below, and you can send them your thoughts to me at questions@theimpulsivethinker.com. Thanks again for listening. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you for listening to the Impulsive Thinker podcast. If you have a question, comment, or suggestion for the show, please visit theimpulsivethinker.com. The Impulsive Thinker podcast is produced by Tactical Breakthroughs and hosted by Andre Brisson. Remember, ADHD is only a part of you, not all of you.